Harper. Hi, Morgan.
Hey Tom, how are you?
I am so great. Thank you for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. Folks, you get to hear the values this morning that drive Morgan and all the great work that she does. So I'm so looking forward to that. And Morgan, I just thought I'd do a quick intro before we get started. And we met a few years back, right before you decided to run for Congress, which we know is a very brave and bold thing to do and life-changing, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. So we have lots of war stories on that. But I know you're from Columbus, Ohio, and we were so thrilled to get to meet you and learn about your background, which includes really going to Tufts University, Princeton, getting a master's in public administration there, and then Stanford Law School, which is amazing. Going off to work with Rich Cordray at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and then VP of Strategy and local initiatives for at Local Initiative Support Corporation, and then of course candidate for Congress, which was amazing in the 3rd Congressional District here in Ohio, and now senior advisor at American Economic Liberties Project, which you're welcome to share any and all of that while you go through your values, but done some great work and very inspiring work, and in a couple years I've seen you just catalyze our community and really help make change. So first of all, thank you for all that great work. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you and just let you share. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you kind of go through and share your values and kind of your gift, your superpower, and then we can talk a little bit on the other side. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. Thanks,
all
Tom.
right. I'm going to go ahead and get off here and let you go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it was difficult to choose value when you have to really distill it down to words, but a fun exercise. So again, thanks, Tom, for giving me the opportunity to join the show. And I am a morning person, so I love things that start at 7 a.m., but it's hard to get people to do that. So the first value that I use is humility. And to me, this is at the core of everything that I do. And also, I really think, especially those of us who are doing a lot of work in the public sector, it has to be fundamental to how we're approaching policy making and community organizing. And it's rooted for me in this idea, and I talked a lot about this during the campaign, just that, I don't feel very special, right? And for a lot of us in our country, we know whether or not we get the opportunity to live out our talents and explore what our potential is pretty random. And just having an awareness of that at a very young age, especially being adopted, I've always tried to but I don't even know if it's not really an effort. I just have felt very humble, and also just a value of humility in myself and those that I work with, that we're not special, we're not better than anybody else. And if we can just spread that value throughout our country, then I think we will all be much better off and really approach each other with a lot more empathy. And so humility is pretty core to everything that I do and organizations that I lead. The other value that I chose is leadership. Leadership to me is key. From a young age, I don't think I knew exactly what I wanted to do or be or, job, but always admiring those who were leading other people to an idea, around a cause, and just recognizing that, wow, there's real power. Power isn't even maybe the right word, but that people could believe in something that you're putting out there so much that they would choose you to lead them, felt like an enormous responsibility, but also something that was very meaningful. And I think we're at this place right now, certainly in our local community, in our state, again, throughout the country, really, where we're having a bit of a reckoning around what type of leaders do we want. We've lived through this era where I think for a lot of us, there was a style of leadership that didn't really align with our values, but also this period where things have been exposed around how, our government works and how some people who are part of it operate. And we're at a crossroads, and we're trying to decide, what is this next phase of leadership going to be? And so it's been interesting to just think and reflect on different styles of leadership. But I think for me, just that idea that people would choose you to lead and represent them in any way, even in, a highly localized way, to be a voice at a community meeting, on a city, on an area commission, even at higher levels of government, is really impactful and something that can't be taken lightly. And so leadership there, another core value. The third value I chose is growth. And I think I try to have a growth mindset is probably like the catchphrase that we use a lot now. But for me, it doesn't always mean that from outward appearances you're going full steam ahead all the time. Sometimes growth is recognizing that you're not in a place to really maybe push as hard as you would like to, and it's time to take a step back. And it was interesting after the campaign wrapped up. Uh, it was tough, especially when COVID hit and we had the change in election date. And for the team, it was just devastating in a lot of ways to see a lot of the work that you had put in, that you felt like, oh, maybe this isn't going to now be able to pay off in the same way. And I think having this idea that no matter what we're doing, we're growing, and that there's a bigger picture here has really allowed me to weather the the ups and downs. And it was something that I tried to express to the team, that this is a long process. And for me, having worked in policy and social movements and all of this for really a long time, and it's been a focus of my life since I was in high school. I wouldn't have had the vocabulary again to describe it in that way, but recognizing injustice and wanting to do something about it has been a core focus of mine. And being able to see that we, as long as we're growing, as long as we're learning from different experiences, then it's all worth it, and it all will cumulatively add up to something that is a better version of where we started. And that's the most that we can hope for. So that's how I try to assess things that I'm getting involved in, or different pursuits that I might do. Like, is this going to be a growth moment for me, and how will I be growing? And even if that growth again is, I'm just going to have more time to exercise for this period, and that's important, and shouldn't be underestimated. And then the last value, which I know a lot of others who have come on the program have chosen too, which I think says a lot about our community, is community. That to me is, if we had to choose a superpower for Columbus, Ohio, and it would be community. That people who live here really care about one another. People who live here really have a sense of interconnectedness, and that I have never found replicated in any other place that I've ever lived. And it's a big reason why nowhere else has ever felt like home to me, and never will. So the fact that we have people here who that's their core value is just incredible, and I know that it's what makes it so special here. And then for superpower, it's weird to describe, self-describe a superpower, but I chose galvanizer. I think that at an early age, I don't know if it's just because I'm stubborn or annoying or whatever, that, I really believe in what I'm doing, and I can be very persuasive in getting other people to believe in it too. And just trying to bring lots of different types of people together to pursue similar goals is something that that is my superpower. It is my passion. And being able to galvanize people to not only believe in it, but then take their own power to then move it forward is all that I'm about. And yeah, so I chose galvanizer for that one.
Love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. Well, I could have guessed a lot of those values for you. And honestly, because you're doing them. You're doing them. You're leaning into them so hard. And I know that if you kind of take a step back and look at someone with your background and how hard you've worked to really do some of the things that you've done, the schools you went to, and folks, I bet you get this all the time. Well, why don't you just go make a bunch of money? And you've really chosen, yeah, like really, Stanford law degree, okay. But tell me more about the decision. I mean, this is obviously a case of leaning into your values and what's really important to you. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's not a decision. It's a lot of like how you hear people describe if you're really into the arts or acting. Like, of course, no one goes into art and thinks like, "Wow, this is going to be the most stable life for me and make a great amount of money, and it's going to be perfect." No, I don't have any artistic talent, so that was never a hard decision for me. I just I got the bug at exactly as I talked about in the campaign, age 10, realizing like, wow, this whole American dream thing is a sham.
Mm.
And I'm going to do something about it because that's not fair. And when you have that, you can't, I just could never shake it. So I've lived in environments where I make a lot of money, like a corporate law firm, where people around me were making millions of dollars. I've worked in environments where people were making a really good amount of money in the federal bureaucracy. Actually, you can just ride that government pay scale to actually start to make a lot of money. And every time I just knew that there was a vision of what we needed to accomplish. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, though I don't criticize anyone who finds themselves making a different choice. A lot of people aren't willing to maybe buck the trend a little bit and go in a different direction if you get to that place of being able to enjoy that level of comfort. And I just, I don't know, I may be crazy, but I'm like, no, I just have to, we haven't accomplished the goal. The goal is to make the American dream real, and we're not there yet. And so maybe in a different set of circumstances that I was born into or I didn't get exposed to it, I would have a different approach too, but we can't give up. And so, but it's not to say that it hasn't been easy. I certainly have moments where I'm like, wow, I could just be chilling, I could be on vacation and just living my life would be a lot easier. But I could never because there's just so much to be done. And I do feel like I've been blessed with a skill set to help advance things. And, even though I have those moments of, wow, we could just be living an easier life, then we have moments like last Friday, for example, is a perfect example. And, President Biden releases this executive order that is pretty much reframing economic policy for our country in a way that has not happened for 50 years. And this is something that the organization that I work for during the day, American Economic Liberties Project, has been focused on. But if we're honest, this is something that I've kind of been focused on, that this connects to why the American dream isn't real, right? Why in my lifetime, we've had growing inequality, and to see progress that is slow, and then bam, sea change.
Wow.
That also keeps me motivated, right? So,
Nice.
Yeah, you don't
Nice.
get that at a corporate law firm.
Well, really making change and making a difference for a lot of people. I mean, it's so inspiring. Your North Star here, and then the sacrifice and folks who've not run for Congress will. I mean, I got to tell you, if you really put your heart and soul into it, and you really give it everything you have, it is, as I know with my husband, it is just crazy, and it's a lot of work. It's gut wrenching, emotional. Tell me what your takeaways were from that experience, because I know why you got into it, because we just heard your values and your superpower. But what's your takeaways?
Well, again, I might be crazy, but I thought it was magical. I thought it was a magical experience until COVID, but COVID was not magical for many reasons. Many people, not just people running for Congress. Yes, it is a lot of work. It is grueling work in a certain way, but a lot of people in this country are doing a lot of grueling work every day. So I don't want to overstate that either. But I think that is what made it interesting when people are like, oh, this is just a vanity project. That was kind of something that was thrown out at various points. Like, okay, you really don't know. All it is me on the phone, check my perceived dignity at the door. That was actually one of the pictures that I included in this. That was the first couple of days of the campaign where, like, we're going to be in the doodah parade. You're just going to walk by yourself and start to advertise that you're ready for Congress. I was like, wait, what? It's like, I'm like little office life, lawyer, whatever. And it's like, no, but will I do that? Absolutely. Because we're working towards a higher cause. So if it means that I have to kind of make a little bit of a goofball of myself, that I'm going to spend 5 hours on the phone a day begging strangers for money, and also some friends. I'm going to get told that what I'm doing is a waste of time and people hang up on me. I'm going to have that are questioning and lying about my background, people that I've known my whole life that will make things up, all of it, I'll do it. I'll do it because I don't really care, because it's not about me. And it's about achieving the goals through policy. I want to see policies enacted that will make it so that a lot of other people in this country don't have to work as hard to just be okay. And that's all I'm about. So yeah, it is not the most glamorous experience. It is not the most intellectually challenging experience, but it is absolutely necessary that more and more people do it. And again, magical. I mean, the idea of bringing together a team of people who had never worked together, who all believed in the same goal, who were all willing to make that same sacrifice, because everybody on the team was making a sacrifice, going knocking doors in the middle of winter at the beginning, having people just be like, Congress, what's Congress, and then working up to a place where people were actually excited, knew what we were doing, wanted a yard sign. Magical, absolutely magical. And yeah, I would never, ever, ever have made a different decision.
Fantastic. So obviously it's for the bigger cause, and hearts and minds are changed, policies are changed, things happen peripherally, and obviously good training too, good training for the future. But wow, so Morgan, I just have to say, it's 7 minutes of sunshine, and we did a double today, of course, because you're Morgan Harper, and there's a lot to share. But I just want to say thank you for your community work. Thank you for choosing to come back to Columbus. So you had a lot of choices. I love what you said about community, and I feel the same way about Columbus as well. So I appreciate that. I know that we're all going to keep doing this work, aren't we? And we're going to keep making Columbus better and more fair, more equitable for everybody. And it's the only way, right? It's the only way.
Yeah.
So thanks for spreading some sunshine this morning. I can't wait to see you soon out there, now that we can take the masks off a little bit.
Yeah. But no, thanks again for the opportunity. And I love the hour of this, 7 a.m. Again, thanks, Tom. We're on the same page.
I love when I find my fellow morning people, because that's really fun, because some folks do not want to get up at 7 a.m. for this.
The side of this is that I can fall asleep at 9 p.m., but
Same. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day. And remember, even when it's really damn cloudy out, the sun is always shining, and we are all the sunshine, right?
Yep, for sure. Thanks, Tom.
All right, take care.